special visitors in to talk to us from the Ripple Foundation about an event they have coming up this weekend. They'll provide some more details about the foundation itself as well. And it's an event called Inward Bound. You may have heard the advertisements running for it here on 560 KPQ. We know about Homeward Bound, yay. We know about Outward Bound, seems easy enough. Inward Bound might be a little bit scarier, though, actually. And that's exactly what we're inviting people to do here. So talk to us about this presentation, this class, and how it works exactly.
Inward Bound is a level 1, so we have 2 levels. It's over the course of all fall and winter. Level 1 is 4 classes, so it starts this Saturday, and we're offering a free trial for people to just come and check it out, because we all have resistance. I mean, myself, Steve, Drew, we're all like, even planning this, we spend a lot of time planning and showing up every day and getting up early to be at this class. I'm like, man, sometimes I wish I could just go out hiking. So it can be scary, because there's some courage to be vulnerable and share what's really happening, where a lot of times in my busy life, it's easy to just rely on the cultural things. Oh, I'm too busy, I'm on my computer, I'm distracted. Whereas in these classes, we're really exploring what's happening in the moment. We use our body, we use our breath as tools to just listen. So we're really working on developing somatic awareness. So, I got tense in my left abdomen or whatever it is. It's just the signs that we feel all the time throughout our days, but we just tend to ignore. And we use a lot of brain science, neuroscience is what we're really all about, science and education. So a lot of people might feel scared, or it's too woo-woo or out there for us. But at the same time, we're really just getting down to what is happening in the moment, what's happening in our brains, what are the belief systems and dendritic patterns that we formed as children that are creating those patterns that may or may not be useful to us anymore, and how do we transform those into something that's more useful for our lives and where we're at today.
I really like that about the class, Hana, as well, because it's based in science, but it's like real world practical stuff that you can touch, you can feel a difference, and you can relate it back to things that you can read in a textbook and that you could experience with people in everyday life. And so it does sound a little bit out there, but in reality, when you show up and you go through the class and you talk with the folks, it really makes a lot of sense on so many levels.
The class is quite diverse in terms of how we present it. But one of the main things that we really try to get across is that we want to go from reacting in our lives to responding in our lives. A reaction is the pattern that we have. A response is a conscious choice. How do we get there? That's what the class is about.
And it sounds to me like this could be added on to something that may already be working for folks that might be in a similar direction. Perhaps it's something that they're doing that's therapeutic. Perhaps it's counseling. It also could be for people who have felt like they've struck out from a lot of different avenues of how to change some of these approaches as well and discover a brand new thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's not so much a how-to class, but a growth class.
All right. Well, it sounds very fascinating, and it sounds like it could help and touch certainly a lot of people. It's going to be Saturday, this coming Saturday, that is October the 4th. 8:30 in the morning is when this starts at 1550 Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Things that folks should bring with them, know before they attend, anything at all to get ready?
I would say just showing up with that open mind and open heart. We bring snacks and we have tea available. We take a nice long lunch break, so you can either bring a lunch or you can go off campus, quote unquote, to go and get lunch. We have everything else is there and ready and just waiting for people to show up.
Yeah, and any of the other particular details can be found on our website, theripplefoundation.org.
Excellent. Okay, I'd like to find out about how each of you became involved with the foundation. And Stephen, why don't we start with you? I know that you're naturopath, homeopath. I always get those confused.
Okay. Naturopathic physician and acupuncturist here in town.
And have been around for quite some time doing that here.
Quite some time, yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at quite some time, actually, and not press him for the numbers. How did you get involved with this?
I've always been interested in, I would call it personal growth and learning and how do I work and how do I interface with my world and my community. And really part of what really set me on this path is that I realized that there were certain patterns in my life that weren't very useful. And I think we all have patterns in our life that might not be useful. And instead of going about, well, how do I change that pattern? It was, how is that pattern affecting me? And then how do I begin to behave differently so I don't trigger that pattern? So we've all had the incidents where we go, I promised myself I'd never do that, right? Or I never do that again. And so we just look more deeply into ourselves about what creates those behavioral patterns.
I think I've had conversations with you, Dr. Stroud, after seeing you a few times over the years regarding that and caffeine in my particular realm. So,
exactly.
And this could be something like that, or it could be in a personal relationship, or really anything that would affect your life at all.
Right, absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
Excellent. Hana, how about you? How'd you get into the Ripple Foundation?
Great question. Well, I grew up in the Leavenworth area and knew Steve from childhood, and also I went off to college, went out and kind of did the outdoor educator circuit for a long time, and I came back in 2008, and I worked for Outward Bound for many years, and go figure, that year I came back, I met up with Steve, and he said, hey, you should really come take this class, Inward Bound, and it was one of those laughable, kind of ironic moments where I was like, okay, universe, I get it. So 6 years ago, I started taking this class, and then about 4 years ago, Steve approached me about possibly, like, how do we make this bigger? And so I was really humbled to be asked to participate in creating the Ripple Foundation to be what it is now, and we're really just trying to get it bigger and develop it more in something that people can resonate with and associate with, education and transformational opportunities in their personal life, as well as I work with kids, so I work at the Chelan County Extension Office. I work with a bunch of different people who have different needs and different energy systems and all those kind of weird words, but also practical everyday, like how do you connect with people? So I use these skills that I've developed and learned from our programs and workshops in every aspect of my life, and it's really improved my professionalism as well as all my personal relationships for sure.
Wow, and there's strength in numbers because the Ripple Foundation is in fact growing, and we'll talk about what it's up to this weekend in the Wenatchee Valley here in just a moment. Drew, want to find out what your story is as a board member, though?
Well, very similar to Hana, I had the opportunity to work with Steve and took Inward Bound several years ago, and it was just an amazing experience. And it's one of those things that you go to class and you're not quite sure when you get there, and you realize that it really is about connections. You know, it's about how you connect with others in life. And I was just at a meeting the other day, and it was interesting because I knew I was coming in to do this interview. I was sitting across the room from a client, and I could tell that, you know, neither of us were getting where we wanted in the conversation. The deal wasn't moving along. I can tell that, you know, we were both uncomfortable, and I stopped for a moment and I thought back to this class that I had taken a few years back, Inward Bound, and how it's about just recognizing when you're comfortable and when other people are comfortable and how to make those real connections. And when I just put my intention down to say, hey, you know, how can I make this a better meeting, a more productive meeting, all of a sudden things shifted. I could see it in his eyes. He saw in mine. We ended up putting a deal together, and it was a very effective way of just connecting even in business. And so, you know, when I started to see that these connections, these relationships, they work in all parts of your lives. They're not just at a personal level, not just at home, but they're also at work, on the job, and in really every connection in life. I saw how powerful it was, and I was honored that I was invited to be a part of the board and having a great time working with some awesome people.
And people will get an opportunity to experience Inward Bound for themselves this coming weekend. Sounds like it's going to be transformative for a lot of people who get to attend this and get an opportunity to experience it. And there's more from here for folks. If they do show up, attend, and really like what they have experienced, they'll be able to continue on, yes?
Clearly, yeah.
Yes, 3 more classes. So 1 more in October and 2 more in November, and then we have level 2 starting in January.
All right, outstanding. Anything else to add before we let you go? It's been great to find out about this.
Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we hope to see more people there. We're just trying to get the word out about who we are and what we do.
Absolutely, and since I have, he'll turn into Dr. Stroud right now, since I have him in my studio for the moment publicly. Dr. Stroud, like I said, before we started here, I just wanted to thank you for helping me an awful lot. I know that I was told by traditional medicine years ago that there was only one way to handle a problem I was having, and I said, no, there can't be, and I chose to come to you, and you showed me there was a different way, and my body agreed, and it's been helping me ever since. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be of service.
All right, find out more information about the Ripple Foundation at Ripple Foundation, again, therripplefoundation.org on the World Wide Web. And also, to remember that Inward Bound event is coming up at 8:30 in the morning at 1550 Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee. The classes this is the first of those 4 classes, so if you like what you experienced there, you can carry on from there. And we've talked with Stephen Stroud, the executive director, along with Hana Butler, the co-founder, and Drew Zabrocki, who's a board member today here on the Afternoon Update. Thanks again for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Out for a break. We'll check the weather in 30 seconds.
We give you more news, weather, and sports than anyone in North Central Washington. We're 560 KPQ.